Welcome back, YouTube. So I want to make a video about the things that I don't like about this bike, and I'm not going to use the word hate because I don't hate anything about this bike, nothing whatsoever. This is a fantastic machine. I highly recommend it. It's absolutely wonderful. Best purchase I've ever made, probably. But there's, you know, some quirks. Every bike has some quirks, and this bike is no different. None whatsoever. It has some weird things going on with it, things that I don't like. Now, some of these things are going to be a personal preference, and some people might say, oh, it's not a big deal, and none of it is really a huge deal, but I think it's a weird quirk, just some weird stuff that goes on with it. But before I get into it, I do want to say thank you to all the people that have subscribed. Last time I checked, I was at 293. Never thought I would get that high so quickly. I appreciate it to everyone. And my next goal is to see if I can make it to 500. Let's see if I can get 500 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see more videos on this bike or my other bike, stay tuned. There will be plenty more to come with the summertime coming up. But let's get into it. So in no particular order, the first one obviously is going to be personal preference, but the styling. I love this bike. I love the way it looks. I absolutely think it's probably the most beautiful sport bike out there. There's other ones that I think are absolutely amazing looking, and of course this idiot's going to go freaking 10 under the speed limit in front of me. There's plenty of other motorcycles that are beautiful, like the Panigale, the new CBR 1000 RRR. Absolutely beautiful machine, but in my opinion this one is the best looking. So there's number one. And number two, and the next few things that I have a problem with this bike are kind of controls related, so let's get into it. Number one, on the controls part, is this clutch lever. As you can see, it is non-adjustable. The brake side is a Brembo master cylinder with an adjustable lever. The clutch side, on the other hand, is just a standard Aprilia or any other motorcycle clutch lever, and it is not adjustable, and it's out way far. As you can see, I touch it with the end of my fingertips. This one, I can wrap my fingertips around the front of it. This one, I just barely grab it. So, you know, it's correctable. You can replace it with aftermarket levers, no problem. But for a $26,000 machine with all the bells and whistles, why can't I have a freaking adjustable clutch lever? There's bikes a third of this price with adjustable clutch levers. What the hell, Aprilia? Come on, let's get our shit together. No adjustable clutch lever. So there's that. Another thing I have a gripe with is this turn signal. As you can see, when you're holding the turn lever or the handlebars, the turn signal is right here, this knob that sticks out, and it's all the way over. So for me, I have to move my hand ever so slightly if I'm going left, because I have to grab the right side of this knob and push it to the left. So basically I have to move my hand off the lever or off the handle just a little bit so I can grab that knob. It's way far over. I've never ridden a bike that was that far over. Thank you, Jesus Christ. So I've never had to do that before any other bike. Not a big deal, but you know, it's not the best. Now comes one of my biggest gripes as far as controls go, and that is this dash. As you can see, this dash is really cool. Full color TFT's got all the information you need, all kinds of electronics, fully adjustable, electronics out the wazoo, right? Great machine. One of the things it does have is it has a lean angle sensor, and directly underneath the lean angle sensor it has a brake and throttle meter. It tells you what percentage of brake or throttle you're giving it. That's wonderful, isn't it? It's cool. You got bragging rights. You can say, hey, look at me, I'm cool. I got a lean angle sensor and a brake and throttle meter. But here's my gripe. There's no fuel gauge anywhere. So you don't know how much fuel you have. Now, let me ask you this. What do you think is more useful? A fuel gauge or a lean angle and brake and throttle sensor? Because let's face it, when you're riding down the road and you're getting a little froggy, a little saucy on this thing, what do you think you're looking at or should be looking at? The road in front of you, or what degree angle you're leaning, or what brake percentage you're giving it? As you can see, when I squeeze the brake, it goes all the way up to red. Who in the hell would be looking at that information while you're out hot dogging it? I'm not. I'm looking at the road. When you're braking, do you look down, see, oh my God, what percentage braking I'm giving? You better be looking in front of you, which is why you're braking in the first place, to see if you're gonna slam into whatever the hell is in front of you or the turn coming up. You're not gonna be looking at this. When I'm going into a turn, especially if I'm getting aggressive on it, I'm not gonna be looking at this lean angle sensor to see what angle I'm leaning at. Nobody cares. And when was the last time somebody asked you what percentage lean angle or what percent throttle were you giving it in a particular turn or whatever? No one. No one in 20 some years of motorcycling, I have never had anybody ask me, nor do I think anybody gives a shit. I don't. So, Aprilia, this is really cool. But give me a damn fuel gauge, because when somebody says, oh, I got half a tank left, how much you got? I have no damn clue how much fuel I got. I can estimate based on if I reset my trip meter and I kind of know how many miles I can get to a tank. I can tell you roughly how much gas I got, but that's all I got. I got nothing else for you. I got nothing else. So come on, Aprilia, give us a fuel gauge. They've been bitching about this on their Aprilia for years now. And like Ducati and some other bikes, the Tracer 900, you can change the display around and tell the computer what you want displayed at any given time. Okay, so how about doing this? Give me a lean angle sensor, give me a brake meter and a throttle sensor and all that stuff, but give me the option to change that and put the fuel gauge up there. That would be fantastic. That way, if I do care at what angle I'm leaning the bike or what percent gas I'm giving it, I can look at it, but I can also switch back to a fuel gauge. That would be fantastic. No fuel gauge. Another issue I have with this bike is LED headlights. There are no LED headlights on this. There's bikes out here a third of this price that have LED headlights. This thing doesn't have, for $26,000, this thing needs to have LED headlights. Now for 2021, Aprilia just released the new RSV4 in Tuono, and it comes with LED headlights. Well, thank you, Jesus, Aprilia, for getting on the bandwagon and putting LED headlights on it. But this one still doesn't have it. What the hell? 26 grand in 2020, because this is a 2020 model. You should have LED headlights. Another gripe I have, and I just noticed this today. So today I'm wearing a jacket, gloves, and I'm just wearing regular jeans, and I'm not wearing motorcycle boots. I just got regular running shoes on. And so when I'm cramped up here like a pretzel, the pant leg on my jeans rise up a little bit to reveal a little bit of my ankle. So when I'm cruising down the road, I'm sure I look sexy. I look like I got high waters on. But so anyway, I noticed an excessive amount of heat on my ankle, right there on the skin that's kind of exposed. Last time I rode this bike, I had proper motorcycle boots on, and I didn't have a problem. I didn't notice it. I also had motorcycle riding jeans on. Did not notice the heat. But today I noticed the heat, and it's kind of excessive. Now, it's today's overcast, 72 degrees outside, and 50 miles an hour, and I notice a lot of heat, especially on my left ankle. I notice it on the right too, but especially on the left. My left ankle feels like you got a hairdryer on high and you got it pointed right at your ankle. It's pretty hot. Somebody asked me, and I'm going to answer this question. Somebody asked me on my previous RSV4 video, I mentioned that this bike gets real hot. And somebody asked me what temperature that the gauge, the fans come on. And I told them I don't know because I wasn't paying attention to it. But the last time I rode it, I actually paid attention. And if you're watching this video, the answer to that question is 217 degrees. At 217, the fans kick on. And last time I was stopped at a light, and it was about the same temperature as now. And this bike got up to, I think, 229. And it was blowing heat. And the bottom of my thighs and my legs were catching some heat, like some serious heat. So there's the answer to that. 217 degrees, the fans kick on. Let's see. Another gripe about this bike is that it is very thirsty. It is a thirsty machine. I used to have an MT10, a 2018 MT10, and I thought that bike drank gas. This one loves fuel. It is very, very thirsty. So you're going to be stopping at gas stations a lot. And it does take premium gas, 93 octane. So you're going to be stopping at the gas pumps quite often. But, you know, this bike is not made for touring. It is not made for, you know, long distance riding or fuel economy. You buy this bike to put it on the racetrack. You buy this bike to have a good time on, but you don't buy it for fuel economy or touring. So if you have a problem with the fuel mileage, don't buy this bike. Let's see. What else don't I like about this motorcycle? Other than that, a couple of little minor gripes. And I shouldn't even say they're gripes. They're not gripes. So this bike comes with Pirelli Diablo Super Corsa tires, which are fantastic. They grip like you're on rails, like you're glued to the pavement. They're fantastic tires, but they don't last long. So you compromise longevity for fantastic grip, which is great. However, have any of you ever checked the price of some Pirelli Diablo Super Corsas? Let's just say they're not cheap. Cheap and Pirelli Super Corsas do not go in the same sentence together. They are not cheap. So here's the thing. This bike is made for two kinds of people. One, the one that loves sport bikes and is going to ride on the street, maybe track it here and there, or maybe not. Maybe they just a sport bike lover, right? Well, that person is going to be riding on the street for the most part. The second person is the one that buys this bike for the racetrack and maybe or maybe not put it on the street every once in a while, but mostly track bike. Now, the person that does that obviously has a lot of money because you don't see many $26,000 Aprilias riding around on a racetrack. There's probably some, but those people have more money than I do to be doing that. So I would venture to say that the vast majority of the people that buy these bikes are probably going to ride it on the street and probably occasionally put it on the racetrack. Maybe do a track day here and there, but they're not going to be running this solely on the track. And if you are, you're probably going to use slicks anyway. Well, if that's the case, then why do you put Pirelli Diablo Super Corsas? There's plenty of other tires that have fantastic grip with better lifespan. I think it's a waste, and it's very expensive. And shortly after you buy this bike, you're going to be putting tires on it. And first of all, the bike is not cheap. It is not a cheap motorcycle. So if you're buying this motorcycle, it's as expensive as it already is. The last thing you want to do is spend more money to put tires on it shortly after you bought it. So my suggestion is the same tires I have on my XSR 900. Those are the Pirelli Diablo Rosso Corsa 2s. They have fantastic grip, but they last a hell of a lot longer than these do. So my suggestion, Aprilia, you put them on the new RS660, put them on this one. Make your customers happy. Yeah, the Super Corsas are great, but they don't last long. And I'm not looking forward to buying tires not long after I buy this bike because I done wore them out. I have 796 miles on them. They're still fine. At this rate, I think maybe 2,000 miles, maybe I'll report back on that. But that's pretty much what I'm looking at as far as mileage. And then I'm going to be putting new tires. So there's a gripe. And I think my last thing that I can think of right off the top of my head that I have a gripe on this bike is the quick shifter. Now, everyone that you see review this bike and test it, they say the quick shifter is fantastic. Well, I kind of disagree. My experience with this bike has been that the quick shifter is very rough. Sometimes it's real smooth, but I'd say at least half the time it's very clunky and notchy. And when you click it in the gear, especially when you're hard on the gas, it's got a very hard shift. It's very like a jolt shift. I'd say probably 50% of the time. Sometimes it's smooth as butter, but sometimes it's not. And I don't know why that is. I haven't figured it out yet. Maybe it's something I'm doing wrong, but my MT-10 had a quick shifter, and that thing was smooth as butter 100% of the time. You barely know you even shifted. This one is not. So I don't know. So I guess if I have to complain about this bike, that would be it. But ladies and gentlemen, that is my gripes about the quirks and the weirdness of this bike and the things that I don't like about it. If you have any comments or anything to say, or you have a bike like this and you have experience with it, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me what you think. If you have any questions about it, leave them in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next video, which is coming up pretty soon. Thanks for watching.